The oil part 1 down below. I have a few words for him, all related to his job, or what would be lack thereof if he pisses me off. And he's going through a divorce that he initiated. Would suck if he didn't have money to support his soon-to-be ex and his 2 kids. And yes, I will go there, mess with my family, and I'll mess with his. It seems that they have gone further underground. She's using her friend, coworker to relay messages, handwritten letters. So, I'm pretty much fed up. I still want to save my marriage, but it can't happen while she's still knees-deep in the fog. I went to the other man's soon-to-be ex-wife and gave her some of the evidence. She already had her suspicions that something was going on the latter part of their marriage, but this confirms it. She'll deal with him in her own way, custody and such like that, as she should. She's a smart cookie, and he'll have to deal with a lifetime of that. But he gets what he deserves. As well, I think I'm going to confront him, not in a raging manner, but I have enough on him to get him fired at his job. So if doesn't want to lose it, he can transfer and stay the hell away from my wife. And I'm going to his mom. He's a mama's boy. It's been said that she knows about it, but I think he modified the story to make himself look good. But at the same time, I'm kicking it up a notch. I'm going into a modified plan B. I'm writing her a letter discussing that even though we have to live together right now, so long as she continues, she's lost her best friend. And any conversation will only be about our son. That's it. No real contact. I'm going to go about my business, work on myself, the house. Everything else that will make me a better man for the future. If that future is with her, then great. But if not, then somebody else gets a great guy. Not a nice guy anymore, who will be strong and confident, with plenty of love to give. My wife has been going to therapy to help herself, but I found out that it's just a ploy to heal for him. Since they were on pause till they both sorted out their issues. Not going to lie, this hurts worse than almost anything in the universe. But I have to do it because I'm tired of the lies, the sneaking around, of it all. I'm tired of seeing my son's happiness get drained from him because he's so worried about mommy. I know she's depressed and taking medication, but that's no excuse. Heck, it's probably a side effect of the affair. Either way, I can handle it. It'll be tough, and I'm going to miss her and what we had. But what we had is gone now. The woman I fell in love with is gone now. I know it can, and she can be better. But not right now. Here, there's no fault divorce. So, I'm screwed there. The only reason I know about all this is because of employee monitoring software I put on her phone. As for her friend, coworker, she was in our wedding. She initially started off with wanting my wife to be happy. Ironically enough, she was the other woman in an affair that produced a child. So as my wife looked to her for support, it was like asking advice from the devil. I'm going to have a nice calm discussion with her, voicing my displeasure with her role in this. Her mom, who matters the most, knows about the affair. I keep her very up to date, and she's already expressed the fact that if it continues, she loses her family, who also does our childcare as well. He doesn't have a Facebook page. From what his wife tells me, his family is his circle of friends and not much outside of that. As for him, I'm going into his workplace. Confront him. May go to a few other people of influence while I'm there who can help break this up. He's done a lot of this using work time and resources, which I don't think the company would appreciate. I think I can get him transferred pretty easily with that, if he's also a department head. And he would schedule my wife to work on certain days and deny hours to other employees just for that. That's harassment. His ass is mine. My only hesitation and the reason why I want him transferred is because he has 2 kids. And as a father, I'm not trying to take food out of their mouths. I'm going to try to save her job. She's been there too long and has too much riding on it. So he should be the one to leave. Comments. Just a couple of things to keep in mind when confronting OM. It sounds like you want to be civil, which is fine. Not my way. So let him know whatever your wife has told him, that the point is you do still love her and you are making every effort in repairing the marriage. Even though the OM may have heard differently and your wife wants to bail, you are asking him to give you and your son a chance in repairing the family by discontinuing the adultery. Let him know you understand your wife's involvement, but you are not talking to your wife. You are talking to him and asking him to do the right thing and give your son his mother back and have the respect to leave a married woman alone. As far as the OM family, you want to come off as not vengeful but a concerned husband and father, letting the other mother know that you are asking for her support in ending the affair her son is having with a married woman, and that if she doesn't believe you, that she is welcome to see the proof you have. OP responds. Oddly enough, on D-Day, I sent him a text which I saved those exact things. About saving my marriage and family. He obviously scoffed at that. When my mother-in-law confronted him, the same things were reiterated, especially in concerns to my son. Again, it lasted for a few days. He's the father of 2 young kids but doesn't seem to care. I'll give him one chance. Then I don't care what happens to him, and I hope his ex gets every demand she has. Full custody, house, child support. The whole 9. Funny thing is, he doesn't even know that I've gone to her yet. A civil interaction with his mother, who I found out lost her first husband the same way. to an affair. But I've also heard that she's a little psycho. He'll confront him in a very firm manner. With any luck, he gets scared or angry and swings at me on camera on company premises. Then that's a total win. My goal is to save the marriage, but to my wife it'll be to move on. 180 style. I've done all I can in the short amount of time since finding out, but I can only do so much while this is going on. They work for a large grocery chain. In the store, she worked in his department, from 1 to 3 days a week, no longer as it was altered when other employees complained about hours and picking up the slack when they worked together. I know the manager of the store and his boss too. He's a save-yourself kind of guy. Oddly enough, neither the other man nor the manager like each other at all. The other man feels threatened by him, and the manager has made comments to my wife. Inappropriate ones too, but my wife is not a boat rocker. But like I said, the other man and manager don't like each other. The only problem is that if I go to him, there's a 75% chance he helps my wife. But the OM's district boss who loves him may come to his defense. But with the text and phone records of the calls while on the job are good enough. The complaints from the other employees are just as good. I just don't know if I could get their support. But I think I can rum up some support from the manager because he doesn't want anything ducked up his store. And his dislike of the OM would make it easy. But my wife would be easier to replace. Her getting another job, though, may be really tough. 1 month before D-Day, and since then I've been being the best I could be. Kicked up the slack where I knew I did wrong. Focused more on the family. Learned to keep my mouth shut. Lost 17 pounds and now look like the new Bond. Her words. You know what scene? I've kept up the majority of the 180. She's fluxed between healing and going back. He's been confronted. They've broken up and gotten back together. She started therapy and meds. She also said she's working on herself. But a text between her and her friend stated that they were on pause as both of them get better. She's afraid of him losing interest, to which he always responds he's not going anywhere. She's also afraid, insecure about the soon-to-be ex. I'm at the breaking point. 3 times in the past 2 weeks she left home for work, but I saw text telling her boss she's running late or will be in an hour after her scheduled time. All while she's telling us she's getting better each day. She's still knees-deep in the fog. It's time to do something different. I told her after D-Day that if she continues any kind of relationship with him, she loses me as a best friend, which she now considers me. Not a husband, as she sorts out her feelings. Odd too, she no longer says I love you, no more kisses. I think she thinks if she does that she's cheating on him. I'm away for business right now, but it used to be when I left she'd get all emotional. She couldn't go a day without a few I love you texts to me. Heck, she was like that right up until D-Day. Then boom, it all changed. Got the I love you not in love with you stuff. She's told her therapist she's afraid of losing me as her best friend. But this cake eating. That she would move out to find herself, but she doesn't have the money. And doesn't want to lose time with our son, which I won't let her take. She's also told her therapist that she's not ready to deal with the guilt of what she's done. That it'll probably break her. But she continues the behavior. It really leaves me no choice. Either she comes out, or I break free. But I can no longer watch this. But I might as well make this as difficult as possible for him too. Since he decided to mess with my family, these smartphones have also been the key to her undoing. Oddly enough, when she sees the text records I have from it, she'll probably get a new one. At that point though, I don't care. She can do what she wants. I'm more than willing to fight for my marriage, but there have to be boundaries. And I'm not going to lose my self-respect in the process. You take away this whole affair, and my wife has been everything I've ever wanted and needed in a wife, inside and out. I understand the logical stuff behind the affair. It's just the emotional stuff behind it that's killing me. I know deep down, I get her out of the fog, and the woman I feel in love with is in there. And she can be better. But right now, it's all about me, and saving her is on her shoulders. I've actually seen the text message between her and her friend talking about their therapies and who's getting better faster. It's a whole mess for a reason to get help. I don't say I love you because the 180 made so much sense. She doesn't say it because she doesn't want to confuse things. She used this same reasoning for bonding, which it's so hard to shut down the hormones. A lot of what and why I'm about to do is based off a letter I read in Surviving the Affair, except nobody's moving out. Right now, the letter mentions that there is hope to rebuild a relationship, friendship or otherwise, but it must come with NC first and foremost. Of course, if I get him transferred or fired first, that would help. She'd be angry short term, but long term it may be for the best. I actually only travel once or twice a year, for a few days at a time. Nothing of consequence. So, I know that's not an issue. One of the biggest issues that I'll rectify in the future was Sundays. During football season, she would take our son out on play dates, or with grandma to run errand and have fun. Occasionally she would be invited over to the other man's family house for a family gathering. I never wanted to go, but it's because I always had to do stuff around the house. I'd watch a little football, but then there's all the stuff my wife didn't do that I figured if I did, When she got home from work on the weekdays, she didn't have to stress about it and could focus on our son. Little did I know that she took this as a form of neglect, that I should have been spending time with my family and should have confronted her about splitting the housework more evenly. You live, you learn, I guess. You know what just occurred to me too? I'll be heading home soon. My wife has therapy on Tuesday night, so the plan is on Wednesday to give her the letter I'm working on, to expose those who need to know. Basically, dropping a bomb of my own, to confront the man face to face who's been messing up my life. It's probably the biggest risk I've ever taken. It'll drive her away further, right into his arms, and the love of my life will be gone. Or save my marriage. It won't happen overnight. I'm ready for the anger and all the other emotions that will come with it. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared. I know I can't keep dealing with this, watching her have the affair, and the lies and how she misses him so much and loves him. All while she thinks I don't know about this. I wish I had the patience to let her meds help. I wish I had the patience to let therapy do its thing. I believe she can come out of the fog she's in. I don't think she's in for the long haul with this guy, despite what she says. She's uttered terms like, I can totally be with you forever, and if it feels this way it has to be right. But I'm at wit's end. I've punished myself enough by tracking her. Once I do this, she'll adjust and I won't know what's what. She can lie to me all she wants. I won't know, but I have to be strong enough to not care. If this is saved, she'll pry herself away and be open and transparent. He'll be completely out of the picture. All the while I'll be a stronger person. I'll be the man she fell in love with again. I'll be the best husband and father I can be because I've been working on myself. Manning up, no more Mr. Nice Guy. But I'm terrified, if she does leave forever. 17 years gone, and a son that will ask why things happened. And I can't lie to him. It's just completely heartbreaking. I'm just facing a little self-doubt and fear right now. You will all have to excuse me. If I confront him, it'll be at his workplace. So, there's no fear of retaliation. And I went to the ex, just waiting for her to do her thing. Ali and years. I appreciate the comments and support. You're keeping my head straight and focused. When I get home from Bangkok, my mother-in-law is going to give me an update on the weekend and where her head is. Plan is to give letter on wed, and then make all the necessary communications. We'll see how that plan goes. My plan is giving letter Wednesday. Call other man mom. Text wife's friend, then confront other man at workplace. Hardcore 180. Using plan B from surviving the affair. Read no more Nice Guy. Feeling strong and empowered. Saw a text from her to friend that she wants to book a hotel room for lunch break tomorrow. Don't know if they're going to do it, but she made mention of a long, good talk with him that she loved. My blood pressure's rising. She has a therapy session tomorrow night. Like it matters. She's so in the fog it's scary. Heck, I'm scared I'll lose her forever. I can't believe the stuff. As well as giving her the letter, I'm going to give her all the texts I have since D-Day. If she changes phones, it doesn't matter because I won't care. There'll be no point in chasing her. She's got to come back to me. I'm going after his job, screw it. I've been nice, he's been told to back off by others. Now I man up and do what should have been done in the first place. Just very civil-like. Well, she already kind of knows how because that's how I exposed her on D-Day, with copies of the texts through the monitoring software. I do this, I'll show her all the lies and the sneaking. Like how I went to a doctor appointment to deal with a possible enlarged heart. And she's telling me how she loves me and we're a team, while at the same time texting him. She's gotten good at compartmentalization. As well, there are texts from him that I'm going to use to confront him. And that I sent to his ex. And where she leaves her normal time for work, but then texts her supervisor that she overslept and comes in an hour and a half late because she's with you knows who. I want to bring it all to the light of day, no more BS. So, I've had to put this letter and exposure thing off till next wed. I know people will say that I should just do it, but I need maximum impact, everything to happen all at once. The letter, texts, the call to the other man mom, the text to her friends who helped, and the confrontation with the other man at his store without my wife around. As well with the right people at the store so they find out too. Total shock and awe. My wife will probably hate me, but that's kind of the point, I guess. It'll make it easier for me to 180 her. But it's funny, yesterday, they had some sort of break up and get back to get her. I've seen this happen several times. I think the other man mom was getting nosy. And while I think he still deflected things, she probably told him to back away until things within my wife's life get sorted out, like her decision to leave. But he's a mama's boy, and I think when he told my wife she didn't like it too much. Though last night I told her that garbage has nothing on me. I've hit rock bottom and can only go up from here. I've learned what I did that impacted our relationship and I'm fixing it. As well, I told her there are a million women out there who would love to be in her place. House, stable job, beautiful healthy 3-year-old boy, a husband who loves her. They make movies and shows about this stuff. Later she says what if she's making the biggest mistake of her life. I told her there's only one way to find out. But there is no guarantee that will be around when you figure that out. Now I just need some hot chick hitting on me at the right time to get her jealous. Today, I feel empowered again. Tomorrow might be different, but one day at a time. Well, let's see if I can sum this all up. Tuesday afternoon, I contact Human Resource, let them know about affair and that they've been using company resources as well as he's been using his ability to schedule his department to make it easier to work same hours and days while denying other employees hours. I follow that up with an email letter I got from another site by a member who works in HR as a lawyer. Wedmorn, I leave work, put letter in drawer to text her to look at it at the right time, when I'm gone. The letter is about how I realize all I've done wrong, been willing to work on it, can't stand lies, cheating. Most importantly, we can no longer be friends because I told her any relationship with him. None with me. Go to work, call the OM mom, leave voicemail, send text. That same text is forwarded to my wife 20 in later. Tell her to read letter. Send text to best friend coworker who's been helping. Text to 2 other girlfriends who may or may not know. Go to job. Talk to her supervisor, who knew a lot, 2 more male coworkers. Then talk to store manager to tell and hopefully protect. She texts and apologizes to other man mom for getting her involved. Texts other man to say sorry, will leave him alone. Yeah, right. Apparently other man mom has known what's going on. Get call from best friend who apologizes to me and didn't mean to get wrapped up. Just wanted to be supportive. I go to family law appointment to get info on legal separation. She's mad, hates me, goes to friend's house for a bit to breathe, comes home and goes to sleep. She goes to work and finds out most PPL have found out. Don't know yet of any repercussions on other man yet. She went to manager of store to talk to directly. She apologizes for me bringing it into the store. He said it's not me who brought it in, it was her. So right now, and for the foreseeable future, she's angry. Not speaking to each other, playing it by ear. Going to be nice but avoid her. We'll be ready to file if necessary, but for now we'll see how it goes. So, my wife is getting her own phone and plan today. Her affair phone, if you will. She says it's because her friends want text because they know her phone is bugged. It just seems like one more step to trying to be with the other man. Yeah, we did full exposure. I just don't know. Kind of bummed because I didn't know she'd actually do it. That's definitely the wrong direction if she wants me to trust her. She just seems like she's so full of absolutes right now. Like I know he doesn't trust me, so why fight it? Or he says he's done with the marriage, so I'll just go in my direction instead of going. Wait a minute, what's he is doing? He said he always be there. Again, I know it's the fog, but still. Well, it seems we are done. Days later, I lost it tonight. She changed her phone to her own plan, but they wouldn't let her get a new phone because she was 11 months left in contract. So she had to keep her BlackBerry, which is still bugged, so not a few mins. After getting the financial responsibility transferred, she started texting him. Hi handsome, missed you, love you so much. So, when she got home I lost my crap, told her about the text, essentially giving up everything. Said some things I shouldn't have said, which blew Plana right out the water. How I am done and I don't want her in my life anymore. That kind of stuff that's been building up and you say in anger. I wish I hadn't said some things, but it's too late now. Do I think we can fix it still? Yes, but with a lot of work. Do I still want her? Yes, because I know who she is at the heart of the matter. But who she is now, I want nothing to do with. I'll try to get the balls up to file for legal separation this week, because I don't believe in divorce. It'll send her right into his arms. But it seems that where she wanted to be anyway, and nothing I could do could change that. Exposure didn't seem to deter them. I can only hope HR can transfer him. Or better yet, fire him. But I can't make her want to be with me, so she loses me. Like she cares. Her contacts were synced to the computer, so they are also in my iPhone. I know most of the people she works with too and have started to talk to them about what's going on, getting the truth out there about it and me. But I'm angry now, and I see that fueling me to get away. Because I'm tired of dealing with this. I still love her, but I will not tolerate it. By the end of the week, I'm hoping to file separation papers. If she wants to be with him, then go. But get out of my house. I'm not going to watch this. As for contacting the OM and OM mom, I may have to try again. We'll see. Looks like I have no choice but to file, just so I can try and get her out of the house, so I don't have to see this happen. The 180, plan B seems like the only course to go. Not going to lie, the idea of him spending the night, or then going on regular dates out in the open sickens me. Her wearing the clothes she wore for me, all the little special things we used to do and the plans we had, makes me just want to roll over. But I have a precious little boy who needs me and I can't fail him. I'm scared to be a single parent. I'm scared to have this get dirty. Well, I have an appointment with a lawyer tomorrow to start to file for legal separation. I don't want to do it. Lord knows I don't want to do it. But I need to get her out of the house. I can't sit back and watch this affair much longer. The lies and the deceit. I love my wife more than anything, and would do anything to get her back. But in her current incarnation, that's just not what I want or need. As well, I can have my son put in such an uncomfortable position. I thought I had the strength to wait it out. I know I do, logically, but the emotional side has taken its toll. It's been 3 months since I found out, and have determined it's been going on anywhere from 6 to 9 months. The other man's wife seems to think he'll lose his charm after a while, and his true colors and problems will shine through. I hope she's right. So, it's the plan B. Rebooting myself, if you will. I'll be a better person for whoever comes next. And if me and my wife figure this out, it'll be a much better marriage than ever before. The only thing given up on is the ability for anything to happen while the affair is going on. I don't give up on her, but I've given up on the situation. If she truly is out of love with me, that's one thing. If our marriage was that bad, that's another. But it wasn't. We just didn't communicate the right way to each other to solve our problems. But nothing can be done while the fog is there. I know my wife is a good person. She's just made some really bad selfish choices. I think she's in there, but there is no hope with it right now. As well, I can tell the garbage is starting to feed her info and such. She's bringing up words and topics that are completely out of character for her. I know he's manipulating, controlling her. I've seen this before when she was in an abusive relationship. When we broke up, this guy is also starting to pit her against her family in order to break her away from her support. I'm not looking forward to this, but it's a win-win. So, there's that. I have not been dealing with this since last September. I have determined it's been going on since then, give or take a few weeks. I found out late February, and instead of lashing out in anger, I tried to keep an eye on the situation and learn all I can about affairs and try to deal with them. Has every decision I made been perfect? No, and I don't think you'll find one person who has been perfect. My wife is actually not a cruel woman. She's quite the pacifist and hates confrontation. I have a very good grasp on the type of person she is. She's a good person who made a very bad decision. The kicker is, if it was a bad marriage, it would be fixable. However, by the time that got determined that things weren't great, the affair was already on. So trying to get through that has been damn near impossible. She refers to me still as her best friend, something I have thrown aside. I have told her that he and I cannot exist in the same universe, and there have been times where the affair stopped. She seemed to be reaching clarity. And then a couple of weeks later, he draws her back in. She says she's numb from our relationship, from things I did or did not do. I've looked back at those things, all of which are easily changeable. And a lot of it was nitpicking, really, and some was just me not meeting her emotional needs. I get that. Life got the best of me and turned me from the lovable, happy-go-lucky guy I used to be to a stressed-out, bitter dude with a chip on his shoulder. And there have been several other friends who have also told me this. For the record, I have filed for legal separation, not because I want to, but because I don't want to watch this anymore. Is this situation hopeless? No, not at all. I know my wife. I know what she's become. The change is in itself such a 180 turn, and I've seen this before. When we broke up for a bit when we were younger, she started dating a guy. Nice, sweet, treated her well, etc. Later found out he had problems with alcohol. Also found out that he abused my wife. She would leave him and stay at my place. Then a week later go back to him. Then a while later that cycle would continue. That happened for several months. The way my wife is acting now is very similar. All her responses to anything are textbook fog, and a loss of the way she's handling herself is just like back then. That's how I know what's going on. Sometimes growth takes a process, and it's not easy. If I could just kick her out, I would, but I can't, and that's because of the law. And my son, not everything is as black and white as it seems. So, here's the update as of today. This weekend my wife saw I transferred some money to cover lawyer costs into our joint checking account. She asked, and I told her, just one day early, that on Tuesday she will be served with a standard petition for legal separation. She started getting emotional, mostly confused as to what to do and what about our son, and a little shocked to the fact that I did it. I told her I didn't want to. I never would have imagined it, but she left me with no choice. The affair is continuing. She chose him over me and our family. So I wanted her out sooner than later. The rest of the day was a little talking. She was trying to goad me into saying I would always be around. When she ends up heartbroken or falls flat on her face, I just let her know I wouldn't be there to see if that happens. While at Target getting stuff, she asked if I would help her set up. I told her why would I help her if I was the one who wanted her to stay. Tell that little duck to help you. She gave me some foggy loan about how if she would do it over again, she wouldn't get married, as a general rule, because they say marriage changes people. I told her kids change people. I suspected her change of view. She used to be very much into marriage, loved every moment, was based off of hiding from the promises and guilt of the vows she took, as well as being as hindrance to being with this OM. She went to her girlfriend's house to blow off steam, confirmed, and came back with a little attitude. Meaning she talked to him and he's continuing to get his claws into her. I'm sure he'll tell her exactly what he wants her to do, and it'll get dirty. But I'm at the point I didn't want to see this anymore. So, we start this process, and I keep trying to be the father possible. Oddly enough, my therapist was telling me on Thursday that she's worked about 2,000 cases where infidelity was the theme. Of those, only one got married, and they divorced a few years later. Everything is all foggy drug-induced BS. So if I love, I let her go, face reality, and hope she comes back pursuing. If not, well, there's me and my son. It is tough. We all know we've never imagined this when we got married. It's even harder when you know that you're with the perfect person for you. I've never relied on my wife for happiness. She's always been icing on the cake. The way she balances me and completes me, the way we've grown together. I see this now more than ever. I've taken it for granted, but it's too late for that chapter now. My job is as a father, a role model, and a friend to my son. At some point, I hope we can become a family again. But right now, she doesn't want that. The kicker is, as I learn, improve, and grow, I become better. If she thought I was a good husband and father then boy, she'll be missing out now. I know this sounds a bit odd, but since informing her of the separation, she's gotten a little touchier lately. Nothing major, by no means. Just touches of the hand or shoulder or resting her head on my shoulders when we're on the ground playing with my son. She knows I told her I want her out sooner than later. That this legal move was made because I cannot stand to watch and will not tolerate sharing my wife or the affair. Not because I wanted to do this, but because I had to do this. She's talked about possibly her not needing lawyer, as mine could do all the necessary paperwork. I don't know what any of this means, but I don't talk to her much at home except kid and house stuff, keeping it as limited as I can. Some days I'm thinking she actually wants out of the marriage. She hasn't been wearing her ring, but she never made and has admitted to not even looking up any legal maneuvers. We haven't had any fights in a while, mostly because I'm kind of avoiding her. But at the same time I find by sheer accident, me doing a plan again. But then I hear the fog babble, and now she's late on her DMV renewal. One creditor is calling and another is starting to send notices. To me it says her focus is completely off. I know that would be a good sign for me because that means when she moves out, reality will hurt that much more. I've tried not to think about it, but I was looking at a calendar and realized that when she moves out, he'll miss her birthday and our anniversary for sure before the holidays. Today she was nice early in the day, but her and her mom got into it and I got the aftermath. We started talking about money and how it would be split evenly. Then she brought up an amount that we used to buy our house, how it was left to us from her late uncle. She basically said that I mooched that money off of her. We used it to reduce debt and put a down payment on a house, all while we were married, and I mooched off of her. Now not only do I know she's in a fog, because money has never been a big issue to her, but I know the other man is feeding her crap, especially with a line like mooched. The only mooch my wife knows is the coach, commentator. One of the reasons I loved her. She then went on a tirade, called me a horrible husband, a few other things, talked about setting up a schedule for our son, and I laid down the law about the other man and the OM family. I am not going to waffle on those and I'll take it as far as the law will allow me. And she's finally started looking for a place, though I checked the internet history to see the places that may be a bit too much for her. But whatever her problem, I just reiterated she needs to get out sooner than later. Well, she started looking for a place to live. She was in tears yesterday because she realized she wouldn't be able to afford as much as the Thor was used to and may likely have to settle for a one-bedroom instead of two. She said, though, that it didn't change anything. But I have a question. We were getting ready to go to a previous event, and my wife said to me that I looked nice. Stupid me started asking a few questions, some with a sense of humor. I made the mistake of asking all too common, do you think I'm still attractive and do you think the other man is more attractive? My wife gave me a hell yes, followed by a no way. I made a joke about what I should put in my match time profile, and then she said something interesting, and this is where I need help. My wife said, just let your girlfriend know that I'm your best friend and she have to deal with me. My wife still thinks we'll be friends after she moves out, but I don't think we'll even be friends. The question is, 1. Is all that fog talk? 2. Based off that snippet, do you think she's truly checked out? Or is she just setting things support if the affair fails? My comment, how come I feel like she's staying around because of OP's money? We will find out in part 3. I'll try to finish the story today. See you there.